All right. I'm gonna start the webinar now,
Okay.
and we'll just give a minute because I do believe on the attendee side, Katrina's there. Let's see.
Yeah, she just texted me.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yep, there we go. Promote to panelist. Promote to panelist. Penny and Tracy. Okay, I'll just bring everybody over.
Awesome.
Let's see. A good group here. I like the webinar function better than having, just in case. I just think it's a better way to run the meeting for all of us. Okay, give a minute here. Yeah, I just got an email from somebody asking if I'm feeling any impact from the vaccine yet today, because we had our clinic today for our second shots. I should write him back and say, I only did it 30 minutes ago. I better not. Okay.
You scheduled it right though, before a weekend. I mean, are you guys off tomorrow, or are you tomorrow?
Yeah, we're off tomorrow for Good Friday. And then we get into spring break, as you know, the following week. Yep. So what we've done is even next week it's on a Friday, and then the week after that it'll be the Friday for people, just in case. But I think we're going to be just fine. Famous last words.
Power of positive mental attitude.
I'm working on
it. I've had lots of people say, no big deal, no big deal. So let's hope that's you.
Yep, I'm hopeful. And if it is a big deal, I'll just keep my slippers on and enjoy Good Friday with snacks and Netflix.
Tylenol cocktail.
There you go. All right. Well, but just before we begin the meeting, I want to say thank you for pivoting on very short notice. Our goal is to talk about the contract for the roof, and if you're comfortable with it, I know you've seen the motion there. It's not 100% bow on it, but we know, and Dr. Keating and Dan Clark will be able to talk to us about it more specifically, of course. But this will allow the process to continue forward. As you know, doing a roof in the summer, time essence, even this early, because they have to queue up, get the materials, get things going. And so thank you for adjusting your schedules, and we won't keep you any longer than we need. So with that, Katrina, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the New Canaan Board of Education on April 1st, 2021. First is to review and approve our agenda. Is there a motion? Jen, second. Brendan, all in favor? I think John is in favor. Bob? Okay, great. Thank you. As Dr. Lutzy just said, the purpose of our meeting tonight is to review and take possible action on the New Canaan High School roof replacement project bids. So we'll get right into it and turn it over to Dr. Keating.
Thanks, Katrina, and thank you all for showing up tonight on, Good Friday Eve and spending a few minutes with us to get this done. It is a little time sensitive this year, and I'll explain in a few minutes why. But I wanted to go through the bid process with you briefly and answer any questions you might have on the bid process itself. We've been working on this bid for the better of 7 months. We started last year in the fall, shortly after we finished the East project. And we used the same designer, Kim Winchell from HB Fishman, to prepare these specifications. There was a lot of field work that had to be done. And as you may recall, we accelerated the high school roof because it is in need of being replaced very soon, right away. We have a lot of leaks, and we have concern about interior damage, and the roof in various spots just has really been problematic for us for several years. And so we are anxious to get this project completed. So with that said, we went out to bid in late February, early March, I can't remember the exact date. Had several walkthroughs, 2 walkthroughs of the site. The bid specifications themselves were hundreds of pages, and also the specifications, the written documents were equally as comprehensive with the drawings. So this was a very comprehensive project. In comparison to East and South, where we have had 2 projects recently, the last 2 summers, this is about twice as much space, just slightly more than twice as much space as South. So with that in mind, we went out to bid, opened the bids in the middle of March, as we had planned to do prior to the setting up the final budget, and we received our bids. We are significantly below the original estimate that went out about in 2014-15 when the original study was done. And a lot of that has to do with the price of petroleum products and where they stood at that time compared to now. So when we opened up the bids, Greenwood Industries, as you probably read through the documentation we sent over yesterday, is the low bidder. And Greenwood is the company who has done both South and East. And they have done an excellent job on those 2 projects. So we were very pleased to see that they were the low bidder by about $200,000. Kim Winchell went through a qualification process with this bid in particular. And as you saw in his report, his detailed report, he did qualify them as the low bidder. And like I said, they're about 200,000 below, I think it's Imperial. One thing I want to mention to you is in any bid opening that we have, the other bidders are able to review each other's bid. And we had that this time around. One of our bidders did go through and reviewed all the bids and came back with questions in terms of certain aspects of the bid. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And with regards to 3 different bidders, this person had several questions. Greenwood was one of the contractors that they did question. And we reviewed the questions that they gave us. There was 5. 4 of them, we had the documentation to support that they had complied. And there was 1 with regards to noting what the subcontractors are, which there are 3 that represent about 3% of the total bid. So I did get our attorney involved, and she informed me after conversations and review of the law and our bid documentation that we could waive the irregularity because it's so minor. So just to let you know, she will be communicating with this individual contractor to let him know where we stand. And fortunately, we write a specification that does give us flexibility. And we write it in such a way that for minor things, if it's a major thing, we obviously do not overlook major issues, but this is a very minor issue. So we are going to respond to that. But regardless, Greenwood is the qualified low bidder. We feel confident in their bid. Kim has discussed with them at length with regards to the schedule. One of the things that has happened between the time the bid went out and the responses came in is the market for roofing material has changed significantly because what has occurred down in Texas in particular. So petroleum prices, as we all know, going to the pumps has increased. And that has an impact also on roofing materials because they're made of petroleum products. So we've been notified that the price of those products can go up anywhere between 30 and 40%. And the pricing on the materials alone for this project is $1.3 million. So as you can well imagine, that's a significant bump. Even though the contractor is obligated to hold their pricing, we don't really want to engage it with a contractor that would, significantly be subjected to a significant loss. So one of the things we've looked at is doing the entire job this summer. And if we can accomplish that, which we believe we can, they will hold to the bid. And it will save approximately $400,000 to $500,000 with regards to materials. So we're recommending that we have a heavy lift ahead of us to get it done this summer, but they have a plan to use 2 different crews. We're going to have a foreman, our own foreman, clerk of the works, overseeing it throughout the summer. And we believe that we can deliver the project from late June, substantially complete by the end of August. We're gonna have to talk to the town about this. This happens to be a bonded project, by the way. It's not coming out of taxpayer dollars. Obviously, it's a large project. So I'll have to speak with Linda early next week about the timing of the bonding and that sort of thing. But again, we were very encouraged by the project. It's came in significantly below, almost half the price as it was costed out down in 2014-15. We're pleased with the fact that Greenwood did win the bid because we're confident in their ability to get the work done. And at this point, we'd like to do what we've done with the other two projects, is give them a letter of intent so that they can go ahead and start procuring the product. And once the Board of Finance approves the bonding for this on the 14th of April, we'll be able to move forward and finalize the contract as we've done with the other two projects. Happy to answer any questions.
I had a question on just the timing you mentioned. So, if we were to do it this summer, what are there impacts to anything else taking place at the high school that we should be aware of? I mean, what happens to the site and the parking?
Right. So Jill actually manages or organizes all of our summer programs. At least district runs summer programs. And we had a meeting last week, and we've jointly decided that the high school is going to be used on a very limited basis, as need basis, if anything. And that was just doing half the roof because of the activity. However, we do have outdoor sports programs that take place throughout the summer. And we've worked out with Greenwood a schedule that there's a 2-week window when nothing's being used in the gymnasiums, that they would be doing the gym areas during that 2-week period, and they would be able to complete it so that we would be able to occupy that space as needed for basically outdoor athletic programs. There are some indoor need to get into the building, but we feel we can safely enter that section of the building when it's not, after it's not occupied for those 2 weeks. So we're able to schedule around it.
Okay, and that includes, I think football comes in towards the end of the summer for workouts, and that accounts for all of the activities.
Right, as Jay has explained, the beginning of the summer schedule is booked in with athletic programs, and then the end. So it's, we have a window of time in between where we can get the work done above that area. Now, one of the things we are planning to do is take out the skylights and reframe around that area and just put complete, roof covering there. It's going to get us a lot more space for solar by doing that, and the value of the skylights is minimal. So I've talked to Penny about this, and she's in agreement, as is Jay, to do that.
Okay, thank you. Deanna, you had a question? No.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood, Joanne, the non-winning bidder and the 5 questions, and one question was an outlier, and we were able to get a legal opinion. I didn't follow, one, why we needed a legal opinion, and two, sort of what the issue was with that. So if you could explain that a little bit again.
Sure. So with any bid, the other bidders in the public bid
Right.
have an opportunity to review every other bidder's proposal. And in this case, we did have one. It was unusual, but it's okay. I mean, we've encountered it before. And this person had a list of 5 questions, like, I didn't see a signature on the proposal page. Well, there was clearly a signature on the proposal page. I didn't see a signature on the alternate pages. Well, there was a signature on the alternate pages. So it was those kind of questions. There was one of the 5 that said the bid document called for any subs to be identified, just the names of the subs.
Okay.
And that was omitted. So I felt the need to get a legal opinion to make sure that we were on that I didn't make that decision. I wanted to make sure we were on legal ground.
Okay.
And we do have language within our specifications that gives us the right to waive any and all irregularities.
Okay.
And there's a test of substance there, from a legal point of view.
Yep.
And because this is such an insignificant portion, I mean, the roofer is doing, 97% of the work.
Okay.
So there's things for like lightning rods, a roof ladder, some steel work that is about 3% of the job. And she said that's not material, which it's obviously not. So
Okay.
she's going to draft a letter for us for this particular person to make sure we're safe.
Okay. Thank you.
Brendan?
I just wanted to say it seems like as expected, a very thorough process with a bunch of bids, which is nice to see. And I think it's great that we can work with a contractor that we've worked with before successfully. I know that South project went really, really well. So I'm happy to see that the lowest bid was someone that we know and have worked with. So thank you for the summary and the good work.
Thank you.
Other questions? Come, Carl.
One, just to clarify the base bid total, that this is for the whole roof, not half of it. I remember we had a conversation earlier this year that talked about doing it half and half, but that could make it more expensive. But these numbers are for the full project, but I guess it was anticipated in two stages. So first, just to clarify that.
Yeah, that's true. We had asked them, well, we went out to bid with a 1-year project, and then we asked them to give us an alternate for a 2-year. So the alternate on alternate 1 is going 2 years, like the full price with a 2-year. And then the alternate 2 that you saw on the bid sheet is for closing in the skylights.
Okay.
So we had bid it out with replacing the skylights, but we asked for a price for closing it in. I think it's a good idea to do. There's very little value, light value with the skylights. They leak, if anybody has skylights, it's no different in a gym. And we just get all that real estate for solar.
Okay. And then just, could you identify generally how, the areas in which Greenwood came in below the other bidders? What were the kind of the puts and takes that made them end up being the low bidder?
Because all of the bidders dealt with John Mansville, who is the manufacturer of the roofing materials, I would say it's probably more in the labor and margin area.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else that you're concerned about in terms of the timeline? Because I know, it's aggressive, but it sounds like everyone's really comfortable, and it from a financial standpoint, it seems to make sense and is definitely the right way to go. So aside from the town approval process, is that the only concern at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we've worked with Greenwood twice so far on 2 very successful projects, and we followed the same process. And I think they're comfortable with a letter of intent to move forward with the procurement process. And John Mansville has made the commitment that if we do move forward in, expeditiously, that they would honor the pricing. So I think we're in a good place.
Okay. Excellent. All right. With that, I'll ask for a motion to authorize a letter of intent signed by the superintendent of schools to the lowest qualified bidder on the New Canaan High School roof replacement project and the execution of the contracts upon final funding authorization from the town bodies. Deanna, second. Jen, all in favor?
I'm in favor.
Oh, thanks, Penny.
Thanks,
Okay.
Thank you all so much. I hope for those of you who recognize Easter, have a happy Easter.
Yeah. Thank you for all your hard work, Dr. Keating and Dan, and I don't know who else worked on the bid project, and Brian, obviously, but thank you for, I know it's a big job. So especially during budget cycle.
We've had a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you always manage them so aptly. So thank you.
Thank you, Tia.
Thank you.
Well, it'll be nice to see this one move forward. Very
Yeah.
exciting. Good for the high school.
It's going to be great for the district. Yeah.
Happy
All
Easter,
right.
everyone.
Happy
Thanks.
Easter.
Bye, everyone.
One more
Oh.
step.
Oh, sorry. We have to, I guess
Have a motion to adjourn.
Okay, so our next regular meeting is the 12th. Brian, do you have anything to add?
Only that we'll have a presentation from our social studies gurus, Mary Hannah and Bob Stevenson. And we'll do a budget update and COVID update as well.
you
Okay,
really like to go right at it, Brian.
That's right.
Out of the front.
That's right. We don't gear up. We just keep going.
Go.
Right. All right, so Brendan made a motion to adjourn. Second. Carl, all in favor? All right, happy spring break, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Take care,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye
Bye,
now.
everybody.
See you soon.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Thank